Max and Lishan and how they are doing marketing, learn a bit more about people in your region, right? So with that, we'll get started. I will start with Max. Max, would you mind introducing yourself and who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Thanks, Brian. So just to give you a quick introduction of myself, I'm actually leading the team in health metrics for the revenue team. So that encompasses everything from sales, marketing, and even customer success as well. Because we are actually providing an enterprise software for corporate clients to manage their employee medical benefits. So we are more to the B2B kind of space as well. We can definitely elaborate more on that.
Great, thanks so much, Max. Jishan, thank you so much for coming. Would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm Jason, founder of Softwin. Started this company 4 years plus back. We're in the business of providing e-commerce tool for boutique hotels. At the moment, we serve 1,600 merchants, mainly in Malaysia, some in Bali, and then Vietnam.
Great, thanks so much. Now, what everybody's probably wanting to know about is what sort of trends are you seeing in the industry across, obviously, yes, Malaysia, where we are, but also the greater, Southeast Asia region.
I noticed the trends of. I saw the trends of getting leads to be connected to the lead nurturing, more like the marketing automations from lead generation all the way to close the client. So that's what I saw changes, and also me myself as an SME, right? We started adopting lead nurturing and funnel inbound, those kind of things last year. So that's what I noticed the trend in this region.
Yeah, definitely from my side. I obviously have a lot of conversations in Malaysia, and everybody says it's so easy to get traffic, it's hard to turn them into leads and also clients, right? Yeah, thanks for sharing. Max?
Definitely, if we talk about marketing trends, just a little talk for State of Inbound as well. Because anyone read State of Inbound before over here? It's a report by HubSpot actually. So that is really where we start to even look at research first. Because we wanted to really test the market, but we needed a guide in that case. So in that case, we actually went and searched the internet, and that's where we actually stumbled across the report as well. And because we are actually in the B2B space, focusing on larger clients, it's very important for us to do very effective email marketing. That is even what the research mentions as well. And of course, what happens if your friend tells you, there's a good software out there that can solve your problem? Do you trust your friend, by the way? How many of you will actually trust your friend? If your friend is actually a marketer and you are doing marketing, you probably have a lot of hands out there, because word of mouth is actually something very strong in Malaysia. Probably in Western world sometimes there are reports, you distribute case studies, people will read them because reading is a culture over there, but unfortunately over in Malaysia, reading you need to make it as short as possible, or even clickbaity headlines as well. So some of the Facebook posts that you see out there, and you see it and you click on it, you're guilty of it as well, right? You're guilty of clicking on a clickbait headline. Same thing goes to even your customers as well. Try to have some sort of enticing headline, but make sure you deliver what you promised on a headline. That's very important.
Absolutely. We see this ourselves. People buy from people, not from companies, so it's very important to have those promoters, get your brand out there, and share your story with their friends. So, based on the research that you've done, based on the trends that you're seeing, how has that influenced the way that you approach marketing and the way that you approach sales?
Yeah, when I started the business, it's mainly outbound. We have salesperson going from hotel to hotel, knocking their doors, getting them to sign up. Since we started to use inbound strategy, we started to get organic leads coming through the blog posts we wrote, some of the resources. We even put up some of the freebies, like free calendars for holidays, because in our industry, knowing the school holidays in the region is important. So we compile a list of holidays and offer it as a list. When they surrender the email, right, it became a lead to us, and that's what we do. And from there, we grow to different stages. Like once a lead is into the system, we need to start on a process to qualify them, like whether this lead is a hotel or a villa, or it could be a resort. And then we build our workflows to kind of identify and nurture the clients. And when they started to trial the demo, and then that's the time where our salesperson will pick up the call them, check them out with like how's the product doing, how was the trial. So that is like how it changed the whole business. It has drastically reduced the face time. We used to do 90% door knocking, and I would proud to say like now we are doing 80% in the office. So only 10% face-to-face when we wanted to meet the clients to do trainings, like our group trainings. Yeah. So that changed how we approach sales and marketing in total.
Great, thanks so much for sharing that. I've seen from a lot of companies that they do a lot of outbound meetings for clients that aren't necessarily a good fit, waste their time, particularly in this traffic and KL. It's got me a few times. But Max, what about your side? How has the research you've done influenced the way that you market and the way that your team sells?
From what I mentioned regarding research part, I'm pretty much similar with what Jishan mentioned as well. We all agree that money is actually the lifeblood of the company itself. You can't really run a company without revenue in that case. So in the first case, as just a new company as well, we started out 100% on outbound. In fact, we actually go door knocking, and we follow this ABC formula, which is always be closing clients, which is not usually the best way, but it's something that we converted within the first couple of months or even 3 months as well. We got many clients that are low-hanging fruits. Then only we started incorporating in terms of, okay, our presentation slide shouldn't be, bam, this is what we produce, this is what services you can get, and this is the price. That's it. Now we start telling them, okay, what's the problem? What's the problem that you may have faced or even other people have faced? We incorporate the problem metrics into sales before moving into inbound in that case, adding more value, because now we have the capabilities to understand the market and curating that kind of message to our clients. Yeah, so that's where we actually incorporate the inbound and outbound together.
Great, thanks so much, Max. And I'm sure a lot of us always have heard about always be closing. At HubSpot, we've changed that to always be helping, right? Always put out content that's helpful for your ideal customers. Get them engaged, get them wanting to talk to you, because when they actually engage with you, they're already more than half the way through that decision-making process, and they just want to hear from you why they should buy. So, Jishan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the process that you went through when implementing inbound marketing?
The first thing is we put on 2 documents. The first one is a Word file, and the other one is a Google spreadsheet. What we did is we tried to put our buyer journeys on our spreadsheets, try to categorize them like for customers that never heard about SoftIn. So what we're going to do with them, what kind of campaigns we can do to attract potential leads who qualify who might be interested in our products. And then along the way, we also, what we do with the Word file is basically documenting what we found, and then the same Word file became like a onboarding training tools to our sales execs. So that's the first thing we did when we first started to do inbound marketing. And I found it very effective because like we would be able to track working campaigns. At the same time, we could look at the campaigns that didn't work so well, and we get back to it and look at what did we miss, or should we try something new. And as we built this spreadsheet, we started off with just 6 columns. Right now, we are looking at more than 30 over columns. So at each columns, we have different triggers. Like for example, for customers that have signed up for the demo, what triggers them to the next stage? Like they are ready for sale, they are ready to sign the agreement. So we use that to identify the key customer at what stage, and that really helps a lot. As a business owner, we've got to see like the business is a bigger picture. How many deals is coming? How many deals coming from this person? And even we have our team lead reviewing our our sales partner, so he can advise the sales exec like, oh, you're doing very well in lead generations and nurturing is good, but your following up is a bit slack because like you should follow up more faster, or these are the messages you should convey when you speak to villa type of owner. These are the messages you try to convey when you speak to a hotel owner. So that really changed. Basically, it's more informed, and the action is more timely and more effective.
Yeah. Great, thanks for that. Max, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you implemented inbound from start to when you started seeing returns, and what that meant for the team?
Interesting, because it's never actually smooth sailing, just like any other things. I actually started inbound doing myself. In a case where, because we are actually helping human resources departments to develop a certain employee benefit. So actually started off just having a checklist for employee benefits to be passed on around to HR personnel, for them to just check, take every single quarter or something like that, just to see whether are they ticking the box in that case. And what I did was just go into PowerPoint, creating the information there and just the box there, and actually PDF the entire copy itself. And that was just my first content, say, to give to the HR to start looking into it. And of course, bam, 1 million likes. No, not really. It didn't work out as well as I wanted, because probably the design wasn't there and it wasn't marketed that much anyway. I know inbound is really about getting people in, but because the site was very new, so we needed to do some sort of like pushing out of the content as well. So we actually had that entire resource repurposed, and my marketer is actually there as well. She did a great job in terms of redesigning the entire booklet. It became an ebook itself, and the conversion starts going up because it looked nice. So that's really something that you need to look first. The cover page needs to look nice before people even look into the contents. Yeah, I think everyone is guilty of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when I speak to people, they're looking for immediate returns, right? But if you look at that and you look at, paid marketing, Facebook, Google. I was talking to one company the other day, and from the beginning of the year to now, the price has increased by 35%. And if you keep paying the same amount, you're going to generate lower and lower amount of leads. But with inbound marketing, it might not be instant, but 6 to 12 months down the line, it's going to start generating you a lot of visitors, a lot of conversion, and hopefully a lot of customers. Now, obviously, you're both doing inbound really well. You're helping your clients with problems that they're having. What's something that you wish other people would do? And a bit of advice for companies that are thinking about implementing inbound marketing.
I think maybe I could share like what I wish I would have done earlier, right? Yeah. So I wish I would have done earlier to bring in the customer buyer journey to the whole team earlier, and start documenting the campaigns, because in the first 2 years of the business, we did not document the campaigns. We do not know what works, although we managed to get clients. I wish that we started this in day one. And also in terms of content, I believe we wish to start building good quality content, because like in the past we look at quantity, right? We try to generate as much content as possible, and that was wrong. Turns out we should generate more quality content instead. I wish that comes to a realization after we generate a lot of content, but there's not much of conversions from reading to lead. So I think that I wish, if let's say you were to start any inbound marketing campaigns, look at the quality and look at the content, and try to build content that is relevant to your target audience. It always paid up well later in the day, because like imagine the cost of getting a leads from Google is getting more expensive, and who knows, maybe your salesperson spending more time talking to this person without knowing who they are, what type of segment they are operating in. So if you have inbound, right, there's a lot of automation tool. You could qualify your customers in a better way, where you send them to different landing page to kind of gauge if they react to these particular features. We know this client talk more about these particular features when you talk to them. If you send them to another page, right, if they bounce off, most likely you need to try more harder, like what are the possible landing page or what are the possible triggering point that will react to, right? So that is, I wish I would have better insights of that before I started.
Yeah, it's so important to know who your customers are, where they go for information, what their pain points are. You know, following that buyer's journey from, hey, I need help with this. They go on Google, they try to find your page, right? They follow through, go to a landing page, and then even collecting the data. You know, what resonates with people, what's converting better, what's not. Okay, double down on this. It's very important, right? So thanks for sharing that, Max. What about your side? What would you do differently, you know, if you could go back in time, and what advice do you have for companies here?
During the beginning stage, we actually did sales and marketing a lot more silo, right? Sales just going out there, speaking to customers, and trying to identify where there's a problem before they can actually sell the service. Whereas for marketing itself, just generate as many leads as possible. Then I realized that if we want to really improve on our inbound, we really need to start repurposing some of the sales reports. So sales reports have always been traditionally looking at, okay, how many calls have we made, who did we meet, and how big are these customers and things like that. But the key insights from these sales reports on a daily basis or even on a weekly basis is that these are little nuggets of information that they face as problems out there, or even you can use it as sales training later, and also you can use it for resource planning later as well. So when you read into the reports, you identify like there are certain trends of what kind of information your customers is actually looking for. Okay, so it's important to know the difference between a buyer and a user, especially for large organizations. So whenever you speak to a person itself, are you speaking to the executive itself, or are you speaking to the director itself? Right? So we need to have this information in sales reports to be translated over to marketing. This is where I see that we can do a lot better in that case.
Absolutely. Building that sales and marketing alignment is so critical for growth and for success. And we do it at HubSpot. Marketing has an SLA of quality of leads that they need to deliver to us. If they're not quality, we reject them. Sorry, David. But you know, it's a way of making sure that marketing's doing what's beneficial to the business. And sales, I have to follow within a certain amount of time, otherwise Dave gets angry at me. So it's a way of keeping everybody accountable and keeping the revenue coming in. So guys, thanks for the questions so far. What we want to do now is we want to ask questions from the audience. Everybody here has different issues, different questions that are specific to them. So do we have any questions for Max and Ishan? Yes? Anybody? Don't be shy. Yeah. Any questions? No? Oh, there we go. Can we get a mic down? Lady, the second row.
Hello, good morning. I'm Trixie from Deviation. Just a little background. Our company is a solutions provider in aviation, so we provide a lot of services like training and maintenance, recruitment to airlines and other companies in aviation. Anyway, our challenge in our marketing is that we have a very niche market, and although I am actually doing all the things, basically all the things that I've heard that the speakers have advised us, but I find that we are not reaching our audience. And even though I join groups, look for the people who are interested in our content, still I'm not getting the numbers that I want. So my question is how are we actually, for services providers like us, how do we actually go out there and target our audience, the decision makers especially?
I think this is a really great question, and we
Thank
have two people up here that come from very unique industries with very unique products. So Max, do you want to take this one to begin with?
Right. Can I just ask whether you are actually joining any trade shows or anything like that?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
We
you
are
are.
very active.
Right. Okay. That's good. That's good. Because from what we are doing at the moment as well, it's pretty niche as well. Because although HR is available in all organizations, but we are targeting a very niche market as well. There are certain departments. So what we actually did recently, a change, is that we go for speaking events during all these trade shows, and during the speaking event itself, put in ebooks at the back. So ebooks or even information that is relevant to the audience itself. So what happens is that at the end of every speaking event engagement, just put in a relevant report or maybe a resource center for them to start downloading in that case. That seemed to work for us. And recently as well, we actually put that ebook or even QR code in our booths in our previous event. And we actually generated quite a lot of leads in that case. This is something that because it's such a niche environment, you kind of need to use the conference to move on to the digital space as well. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thanks.
Like maybe on top of having inbound, right, you may look at how to use HubSpot to track the emails open rate. And then, because like sometimes when we talk to our clients, right, they might not be ready to buy, or they have just purchased a similar product. They have just invested in the first amount, right? So I'm not sure about your industry. It's a very niche market, so the number is small. That's why it's normal, right? But then you want to be there when the customers is ready to buy, right? So how you know they are ready to buy is by looking at the tracking of the emails open rate when they revisit your website, which page they are reading. So you have all these sensors, I would say, like or the triggering points pre-programmed for you, so that you can channel the right salesperson to talk to them at a very timely manner. So I mean, like especially B2B, I think they hate it when we keep calling like you want to buy or you want to buy or not. But they always like it and they welcome it the most when they were thinking about your product. Then 5 minutes later you give them a call. Right? That works the best.
Great, thanks guys. And please come find me afterwards. We can have a look at your content, do a bit of a review, make some suggestions, see if that helps.
Sure, thank you.
Cheers. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, yes, the gentleman at the back there. So 1, 2, 3, 4th row, red shirt.
Yeah, hi, my name is Derek.
Mike's all right.
Okay, anyway, I'm actually run the traditional business with my sister. It's a retail business. And ever since Lazada and Shopee came out, it seems right, we find that the retailing business is getting tougher and tougher to survive, not sustain and survive in this in the market in Asia. And because we still don't have presence, because we don't know how to present online. How do you use inbound marketing to attract new clients to your business? Because my business is nature is stationery, which is everybody doing. Now stationery is only on price war. People give the cheapest one, will buy from them. You see, so price war will kill actually a small retailer. We cannot survive price war compared to the big boys. How do you make it relevant to attract customer to what you are selling, what you are doing?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that's a tough one. Particularly when we're looking at consumables in the B2C space, right? And what I would recommend, what I would suggest is, if you have a list of clients, have a look at them, find out why they like to buy through you. What separates you from, the Goliaths at, Shopee and Lazada, and see what they want from you. Why they come to you? What's the differential there? And who are they? Do they have common characteristics? Is there a problem that they have that only you can solve, and not Shopee, not Lazada, which, I mean, let's be honest, they'll take time to get there. That would be my suggestion. Anything, Max or Tisha, you suggest?
I think you have an advantage compared to the e-commerce store because you have physical presence, right? So, like what Brian said, it's maybe you should relook at your existing customers, try to find out more of similar clients in that close proximity of your actual retail stores. It's not about online versus offline, it's more about hybrid, how you can get the maximum output from your, if you started to adopt e-commerce, right, how you could make the best out of the hybrid. It's not just like if you go all e-commerce, it's pure e-commerce. I think it's not like offline, you have to stay offline forever, right? So the best thing to do is to try to do hybrid and then try to explore new things like try to make use of e-commerce too to track people who buy similar products in the close proximities, and maybe it could even help you to identify new products to sell to the existing customers, right?
Thank you. Hope that helps. If you want to go a bit deeper, come see us afterwards. We can discuss a bit more detail.
Come see me. Yes.
There
See
you go.
me.
Thanks, Carol. Sorry. There we go. Now it's on. Okay, one more minute, one more question. Anybody? There we go. Hello. We've got this, oh,
Ladies first.
ladies first.
Ladies first lah.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Fazir. I'm an e-com entrepreneur. So we've been talking about the inbound marketing, and okay, so I would like to talk about email marketing. Given the current market scenario, and nowadays people, they always, whenever they see a marketing email in their inbox, they always feel like they're being spammed all the time.
Yeah.
So what do you think, how important is it to have an email marketing campaign for companies, and or should we look into other ways look for inbound marketing, and does it still work?
Yeah, great question. If you're following the traditional method, I'd say no. I ignore 90% of the marketing emails that I get, and I'm sure everybody else here does. But if I could share a personal example. I've been living in Singapore for a while now. I love it. It feels like home. And I want to get my PR there. But it's very hard for people to especially Caucasians, to get your PR in Singapore. They've got quotas, and it's hard to meet that, hard to differentiate yourselves. I've had a lot of friends rejected because of that. So I didn't want to go through that mess and all the hassle. So I Googled, best way to improve your chances of getting Singaporean permanent residency. Up came a blog, really helpful. Downloaded the guide. It was way too complicated for me. I prefer to pay people to do things for me. So, but then I sort of forgot about it. Work got busy, and a couple of days later, I got an email from the immigration agency that I was speaking to. To download the ebook, I had to put in some information about myself, one of which being nationality. I'm Australian, as you can tell. And they sent me a case study of a couple of Australian people that they'd helped get permanent residency, a bit about their profile, and that was really relevant to me. I read it, they were a similar position to me, and at the end of the email, there was a call to action to book a free consultation. And I did that, right? It has to be hyper-personal now. You have to know exactly who they are, what their problem is, and how you can solve that. For them, Australian person becoming PR, very relevant to me. If it was anybody else, probably not as relevant, I would have ignored it. But just because it was targeted to me, that's why I opened it up. Anything from you guys? Max?
So just to get a few clarifications, you mentioned about marketing side, or is it more towards the sales kind of emails? Marketing, right? Okay, so this is something that we actually ran last week, so it's fresh information for us as well. You know how Grab usually does all the banner, that green color banner on top, then they have all this information on the emails itself. So what we actually did, we did the same as well. We had a banner, very colorful, very well designed, even the email as well, an interesting offer for your company, something like that. And when we actually sent it out, interestingly, the click-through rate was 18%. For us, it's really low, right? And a few days later, 5 days later, we wanted to try another experiment. This time, we actually did it pure text. It was just writing text. Dear who and who, we figure out that something, this is your problem, this is your offer, and just one blue color hyperlink in that case. And the headline itself, hi, this person, this is for you. And the click-through rate went up 50%. It actually went up to 52% in that case for our click-through rate. And this is something that we want to try again and again. And it's all about what James mentioned as well just now, being personalized, being very genuine. Yes, yes. And you can actually automate that. That personalization, you can actually automate that. So you can actually try it out as well for yourself, for email marketing.
Excellent. I think that's all we have time for. Is that right? Great. Thanks so much for coming, guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you have more questions, please come see me afterwards, or Max, or Jishan, and hope you're enjoying the event so far. Thank you.